How much do you really know about the paranormal? Can it ever truly be explained or understood? Many say no. I say bet. Hi, I'm Kristen, host of the Paranorm Girl podcast. My show is a binge-worthy, immersive education of the paranormal. Each season, we explore all aspects and angles of a supernatural topic, unraveling its mystery one fact, theory, or personal story at a time. Overcome your fear, celebrate the unknown, and arrive at a well-informed understanding by catching new episodes of Paranorm Girl anywhere you get your podcasts.
Welcome, everyone, to Life Beyond 6 Feet. I'm Damien from RKB Paranormal, and this week I have another great local paranormal team with us this week. I have the Black Wolf Paranormal. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing good.
All right, so we have Todd, Leanne, and Beth with us today. So I'm just going to kind of dive right in. Who started Black Wolf Paranormal?
That's exactly right. All three of us started Black Wolf Paranormal.
So it was just kind of a joint thing, huh?
Yes, sir. I mean, it was, we were all together at a specific location for a little over a year, and we decided that we were done there and just kind of collectively created this group and of like-minded folks. And
Right.
we have a tendency to finish each other's sentences.
Hey, that's always a good thing, though. That means you know each other really well. So you guys have kind of known each other for all. Obviously, Todd and Leanne are married. So how long have you guys known Beth?
Since 2019.
Yeah.
All right, so a few years now. That's what's up. So where did the name Black Wolf Paranormal come from? Who kind of came up with that?
Again, I think that was a little more collective with me pushing it. I'm a big wolf type person.
Okay.
My spirit animal is the wolf. Right now I have 2 wolf tattoos.
All right.
So it just kind of fit with the group.
Right. Hey, and it's different. It kind of sticks out. Black Wolf Paranormal. I think it's a really cool name myself. So, I'm gonna kind of go to each one of you guys and talk kind of about some of your personal experiences that kind of got you into the paranormal. So, ladies first. I'll start with Leanne, since you're shaking your head. So I'll start with you.
Okay. Well, for me, my mom is what got me into it.
Okay.
She grew up in a haunted house, basically.
Oh, wow.
And the stories that I grew up with, I think for me, it was trying to find answers, what she saw. She's a very Christian lady.
Mhm.
So, for her to talk about the paranormal, that was, kind of one of those, things that, typically they don't talk about.
Right.
And,
Right.
To hear her tell those stories, you knew she experienced something that she didn't understand.
Right.
And so I think that's what really brought me into the paranormal. And then, having a really profound experience at one of the locations, it just kind of, I just wanted to delve deeper into it. So.
Right. And so it kind of started with you kind of at a young age, too, kind of growing up with somebody who lived in a haunted house. I think that's a common trend I'm kind of finding with people I'm interviewing and people I know. It all starts kind of at a young age, whether they experience something or it's just something that kind of intrigued them. I find that interesting that it's always at a young age. It's not, hey, I'm 30, I'm going to go do this now. So, all right. So, Beth, what about you? What kind of got you into the paranormal?
I kind of am the paranormal. I've been having experiences since I was a toddler.
Oh, wow.
And it was one of those, nobody talked about it,
Right.
so everybody's like, whatever. It started out, the ones I remember the most, were when I was probably about 4 and 5. I would talk to voices I was hearing in the bathtub, in the shower, with the
Mhm.
shower curtain closed. So that started, my grandparents lived in a spot as well that had a
Okay.
lot of activity. And it just kind of went on. I started doing paranormal investigations when I was 15, skipping school. I don't advise people to skip school. I've been picked up by the cops a couple of times as a
Uh-oh.
teenager.
Uh-oh.
So, and just the things I've seen along the way, and that need and want to help people as well as help spirits and connect with ancestors.
Right. So again, another young age. Todd, are you gonna make it three? Did it kind of start at a young age for you too?
Well, I mean, yeah, actually, Leanne had to go squelch the dogs for a minute. Sorry. For me, it started at a rather young age. I mean, I was always into the paranormal, the ufology, and cryptic growing up.
Right.
I always had a passion for all of that. And as far as really getting into the paranormal, it wasn't till a few years after Leanne and I had been married, she showed more of an interest in it, and we just kind of picked it up from there and ran.
Right.
Some of the locations that we go to, one of our favorite ones that Beth had mentioned to you earlier, up at the hall up in Franklin, Kentucky.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's got the best of all three worlds.
Bro, absolutely.
It's got the paranormal, it's got the ufology, and it's also got cryptic.
Right. And supposedly it has mountain lions too. I've heard so.
Yeah, or something that resembles one.
Right.
That was not a mountain lion. I don't care what you say.
So that was the only investigation I think my team's been on where they said it might be handy to have a handgun with you when you go out onto the property. So,
Yeah.
Oh yes.
and I think it's awesome, Todd and Leanne, how you guys are married and you're both into the same thing. I think that's great that you both share that common interest. That's something that kind of brought me and my wife together. It was something a common interest we shared when we first started talking and stuff. That was like a big thing that really drawn us together. So I think it's great to see a husband and wife working together on this thing. So as a team, as you actually started Black Wolf Paranormal, what was your very first location as Black Wolf Paranormal?
Well, we actually started out
Huh.
our team at Old South Pittsburgh in Old South Tennessee.
Okay.
But our very first was Willow's Weep.
Yeah, our first real investigation. At that time, our team was,
With the whole team.
yeah,
Yes.
it was the three of us, and I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 6 other women
Oh wow.
and guy.
Yeah.
We actually started out as a big collective,
Right.
and people left for one reason or another, and then it just came down to the three of us.
Right.
And,
Willow's Weep. I think you're the second team I've interviewed that's talked about this place. That's in, correct me if I'm wrong, up in Ohio or Indiana, somewhere up there.
Cayuga,
So-
Indiana.
And they sent me like a trailer of like a documentary somebody did, and that place looks crazy as hell. just from that little trailer I've seen. So what kind of things did you guys experience up there?
well, we're actually in the documentary from there.
Oh really?
We
I may have realized that and didn't even put two and two together. So
well, our trip there was very interesting. That place will play with you in a foul way.
Hmm.
There's a lot of ill will in the energies that are there,
mhm.
whether they're evil or whatever, but they're still, and they affect people in different ways. We had a
Right.
couple of people on our team that were affected, and we had to get out of the house. And at one point, Beth was affected. I'll let her share that with you if she wants. But we go into these places. We pray up. We have, everybody has their own protections, whatever
Right.
it is, whether it's stones or oils or just building up our own energies
Mhm.
for our protection. But if Beth wants to share her deal at Willows, I'll step out of the way.
Well, I'll make sure that I put it out there. Dave Spinks, and I wish I could remember Billy's last name. It was a documentary that they did. They've done a couple together. Dave is a great guy, a responsible location owner. We think the world of him, and his other half with Serenity Jenny. They're wonderful people and very inspirational to not just the paranormal community, but humanity in general.
Mhm.
Um, going into that location was it was a cluster even getting there.
Hmm.
The GPS took us 45 minutes out of the way.
Oh wow.
I said it in the documentary and I'll say it again. That place is not haunted. That place is evil.
Mm.
It at that point I was, because we all grow and I work in different areas. I was working on my, okay, I've had enough. It's time to exit the building. I got up and I said, "All right, I've had my enough. I need to take a break." It wouldn't let me leave.
It wouldn't let you leave.
It wouldn't let me leave. I walked out of one room into another before you get into the kitchen to leave, and it was like hitting a brick wall.
Huh.
So I turned around and I'm like, "Todd, it won't let me out." And they got up to start walking towards me, and the next thing I know, I'm down. Like I can't breathe. Him and another teammate tried to walk me out. The minute they tried to pull me out of the door, it was like a hand went straight into my chest and grabbed my heart.
Oh man,
I thought I was having a heart attack.
that's pretty wild.
And that's not something I commonly talk about. I don't really talk about
Right.
the experience because people think, you hear all these people, "Oh, I want to go to Willow's Weep." No, you don't. You really don't. There's some
Oh,
things you should leave alone, and that is definitely one of those places that shows you provoking is not something you should be doing.
no, no. I don't understand people that provoke. I understand kind of trying to push or motivate a little bit, but going in there trying to purposely piss it off, I've never seen a point in that. So it does sound like an interesting place. I'd never heard of it until this other team mentioned it, and I think what may make it so active is it sounds like it's not an overly investigated place.
Right. He has recently closed it for paranormal teams.
Okay.
It just is structurally, it's not a very safe place to be.
Ah,
And also, the paranormal, it's just not a safe place. So he
right.
just felt it better to just close it off. They're actually going to cleanse the area
Hmm.
at some point and totally tear down Willow.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah.
So
So
it's that bad, huh?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you've got a combination of a lot of factors. That's Native American land. There's
Mm,
crossroads. There have been multiple suicides. Um, there's multiple deaths and questionable deaths early on.
oh, so just not a very happy place. It doesn't sound like. So, all
No.
right. So we're
That's one,
gonna.
that's one of the places that we went that we learned about how we work as a team.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, really hated it had to be in a situation like that. I mean, we kind of knew it before going in, but I was always the protector of the group.
Right.
I could always read most of the people on our team's energy. When Beth started being affected, it was kind of like radar going off. Okay, where's Beth?
And that takes a lot for me to be affected, like in that manner. So,
Right.
You know,
because Todd and I normally are the outside of the Oreo
Mm,
and we keep everybody between us.
right.
And so for one of us to be affected, there's a problem.
Oh man. Yeah, that's. I mean, now you've kind of got me thinking twice about that place. But it's going to be torn down, so it's not like I'll get to go there anyway. So we're going to take a quick little turn here. What's some of your guys' favorite pieces of equipment to use to each one of you? What's like your favorite piece of equipment to use?
for me, it's number one, first and foremost, is my body.
Hmm.
Just feeling the energy of the place. As far as technology goes, one of my favorite pieces of equipment was the 360 periscope.
All right. All right.
It's one of those things that I can't explain some of the things that it's done when
Hmm.
we've had it on investigations. And unfortunately, ours got destroyed on an investigation and
Oh no.
still trying to find one. So,
Oh.
but that's one of my favorite pieces.
I'd say for me, it would be the recorder. Getting
Hmm.
EVPs,
Right.
Class A EVPs, and there's no denying those. You know,
Right.
no, nobody is talking. We're absolutely quiet.
Hmm.
And I got one I still have, and it actually says my name.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, it's clear as day.
And
Oh,
that's one of those things that when we're doing EVPs, we do a different variety of way to do EVPs.
hmm
One of the things that we like to do when we're in a group, it's called a 360 EVP.
hmm
And it's an EVP where you've got a few people, and each person will ask the exact same question.
right. We've actually tried that once. We tried it up at the Old Stone Jail,
Yep.
and nothing, we didn't get anything. But I don't remember where I seen it from, or who told me about it. I was like, that's a different way to do it. Let's see. When we tried it out, and it's something I've been wanting to try again, but I always forget about it. So,
But the theory there is something may want to communicate with you rather than me or Leanne.
right.
And it's just whoever's energy they're attracted to.
hmm
We've had, like you said, we've had some results to where we've got absolutely nothing. And then we've had results to where it seems like it's picking on one person.
Right.
And, we can put them different in the order and they'll still get a response.
Oh wow.
So
That's pretty neat. So, Beth, what about you? What's kind of like one of your favorite pieces of equipment to use?
Always me. I'm a different kind of tool.
Right.
But most recently, my new favorite piece of equipment is the Zoom recorder and headset.
Uh-huh.
Um, I had not really gotten to work with one. Of course, I have the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But Barry Gaunt let me walk around with his, and 'cause he's got the big boy.
Right.
And I'm telling you, you can hear a dog peeing 10 miles away.
Oh wow.
And so you're hearing things at a whole nother level.
Right. So it's kind of
And
like that live EVP feedback, like you're
yeah,
listening to it as it's happening.
real time. So that's
So
kind of my new jam.
I've been wanting to try that out too. I seen it introduced on, I watched some of these ghost shows. I seen it introduced on Ghost Hunters. And the first time I seen them do it, I was like, what the hell are they doing? I was like, they're just walking around with a headset on. I was like, how are they going to hear anything? And apparently it does work, and it's something I've been wanting to try myself. So going back to locations, I know you guys are kind of on the good side of Waverly Hills. So how do you guys kind of feel about everything that's going on up there? If you feel like talking about it, or if you're allowed to talk about it, I don't know what like legally you're allowed to talk about and all that stuff with all that stuff that's going on right now. But
I think as far as Waverly Hills goes and we're concerned, I think it's starting to go in the right direction. They still have a few things up there logistically that they need to work out.
mhm,
Um, I think this whole Save Waverly Hills movement has taken a toll on the energies and the spirits of the building.
mm,
From people that we've talked to that have been since this has been going on, since Charlie and Tina have been, for the most part, kicked out of their building.
right,
I think, um, you know, from what we can tell, and I think they're starting to work with the Historical Society, uh, and are starting to put a few things in place and come to some compromises and get things back to status quo as what it was before.
right. And I hope that's what happens, because I've myself been there 3 times before all this stuff happened. So it's been a few years since I've been, but everybody on my team, that's their number one location that they want to go to, and they're all like, well, I kind of told them, what's going on up there, and they're like, well, I don't want to go until everything's righted. And I
Right.
was like, well, hopefully it'll be soon, because that's like my wife's top destination. Just she wants to go just to go, to say she's been, not even to investigate, just to say she's been.
Mhm.
And so hopefully sooner rather than later it gets back to that point, because the building alone is just amazing, and it's an absolutely beautiful place, and people should be able to go there, and not just for the paranormal side of it, just the history of the building itself. I always told people it's worth the price of admission, in my opinion. So,
Oh yeah.
so Octagon Hall. Oh man, you guys, I've obviously been a whole lot more than I have. I've only been once, and it was one of the craziest experiences we've ever had at a location. And um, we heard everything from growls to like I said, that guy that was provoking, and it ended up affecting my wife. And whoever was in the basement apparently didn't like women. And I remember seeing like some kind of you know how you can kind of stick your fingers through the crack of a door. I remember seeing like fingers through a crack of a door in one of the in the basement, down in the basement at one point, and it was just a variety of things at this place, and it was like just boom, 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 and you said something about a GPS kind of leading you guys astray to a location. When we left that night, it kept rerouting us back to the hall. Like it didn't want to. It kept trying to get us to come back, and
That's
That
cool.
sounds about right.
and
Yeah.
and I remember. I know she's not there anymore, but when Deborah was kind of overseeing the place, she told us, she goes, you know, something's going to try to bring you back. Just keep going. And sure as shit, it kept rerouting us, trying to get us to turn around, and we was like, no, we're just gonna keep going. And that was a place that we were like, you know, I don't think we want to go back here for a while. There was just too much weird stuff, and we finally, my wife and I worked up the courage last summer. We went up there during the day, and you know, Miss Deborah was still there, and we just kind of chatted with her for a few minutes, and the vibes during the day was totally different.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, I was like, this is way different than it was, you know, last summer when we were here. And I think we've put it on the docket to go back there next summer. So, what's some of the stuff you guys kind of experienced at Octagon Hall?
I know for us, it's 30 minutes from where we live, and
Right.
we went. It was a super moon. It was on Halloween. It was a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and we went in the backfield. I love the backfield. There's so much that goes on out there. Outside is just my jam, and so me and Todd, we drove the Jeep out there and just parked it in the middle of the field because we were wanting to get pictures of the supermoon when it came up.
Hmm.
And as we're out there, Todd's walking around and he's taking pictures of the stars. And he looks at me and he goes, "Look at this picture." He goes, "This looks really weird."
And there's a great picture of the moon and one single star.
Huh.
So I thought, well, it's kind of odd. So I thought maybe it was Jupiter or whatever. But she has the sky map, and at that point in time, it didn't show a star in that location. So I zoomed in, and the more I zoomed in, the less it looked like a star.
Hmm.
And as I zoomed in, it was a perfect triangle.
Oh, wow.
And I've showed it to Bear and showed it to a couple other people on the ufology side, and everybody's kind of agreed that it was not a star.
Yeah, that's definitely weird. Like you were saying earlier, that place kind of has a little bit of everything, and I think that's what makes it so interesting. And probably one of the biggest hotspots down here in the South, I would think. And have you guys been fortunate enough to see the ghost train? I've heard talked about.
Yes.
No kidding, no kidding.
Todd has a picture.
Yes, pictures.
No shit. That's
Yes.
awesome.
I'm
Wow.
I'm still having some people look at it before I share the picture, just to make sure that there's nothing hinky about the picture, because I
Right.
do know sometimes that train line has a locomotive in the center of the train,
Hmm.
and that's kind of where this picture was. And just wanted to make sure the lights and stuff didn't match up to something like that.
Right.
I do have a picture of a lighted car on that line.
Oh wow.
It, it doesn't even really look like the locomotive, even if it had lights on it. But
Mhm.
like I said, I'm still having people look at it and confirm for me.
Yeah, that's something that if it gets confirmed being legit, I'd love to see that because that's awesome.
It
So
is a very, and the hall has something for everyone.
mhm.
Mhm.
And you don't even have to investigate at the hall.
Right.
You can just sit there. And my favorite place to sit at the hall and investigate is right there in that dining room table with Bear at the end of the table.
Mhm.
You know, Bear and Isaac, they are the caretakers and they do a wonderful job. Mike, they have the people that take care of the hall, they love the hall.
Right.
Night Stalkers is a wonderful team. They are a very respected teaching team. They're the top of they set the bar really high.
Right.
And I've had communication with Frank James sitting right there at that dining room table. And one of the most amazing experiences is the gift that the hall gave us the Halloween weekend. Now, the chimney is there
Mm-hmm.
of the building, but that's all that's left. Well, Friday night, I'm like, oh my God, do y'all see it? Do y'all see the house? I'm the only one who saw it. Bear sees it all the time, of course. Well, Todd and I, Saturday night, are in the middle of a conversation and my back is to it. And all of a sudden, Todd's like, do y'all see the house? Multiple people, we got to see the house that's not there. They gave us the gift of seeing a building that is structurally not there.
And
That's
she put it mildly for my reaction. There was a few explicits, and
And he jumped.
yeah, I
wow.
jumped from one side of the porch to the other, almost
Yeah.
off the edge.
It was
That's
very
crazy.
exciting. It was a beautiful moment. It was exciting. And so many people at one time got to see it.
That's awesome. I hadn't even heard about that before, so that's something that now I kind of look forward to when we go back next year. Um,
Like she said, that place has a little bit of something for everybody. And
Yeah.
when you go out to like the family plot or the family cemetery, and then venture out to the slave graveyard, and as you're sitting there just taking it all in, there's also always a lot of movement, a lot of shadows playing in the trees and whatnot. But if you go to the fence line and just kind of look out over that field, especially on a night when the fog is rolling in,
mhm.
and we've seen everything from what looks like troops moving across the field,
Oh
or,
wow.
or Indians coming down out of the tree lines.
And
Uh,
be careful for sheep incidents. I had a sheep incident.
yeah, and also out there on that field, and the people at the hall will tell you, if you see certain lights out in that field, don't go towards them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no.
And you will see different kinds of lights out in that field, and that's one of those things that I guess you can say keeps me coming back, because I'm trying to figure out what this energy is
Right.
that's popping up, whether it's something to do with UFOs, or if it's actually spiritual energy, or if it's just weird bugs. Who knows?
Right.
But
I mean, that's what keeps me intrigued in the paranormal, because we don't know a lot of this stuff, and we're always researching and always trying to get the answers, and we may never figure it out. But that's what keeps drawing us back to all these different places, and what keeps us hooked.
Well,
So
they're
what's
lucky I'm not any closer because I'd be there every day, but I'm down here in Atlanta. So,
ah? Oh, see, I'm close, just like Todd and Leanne. We're about 40 minutes away from the hall, so it's right up the road from us. So what's some of the craziest stuff you guys experienced during your investigations?
well,
Not necessarily being scared, but just like, what was that?
one of my profound
mm,
moments, and this is kind of a near and dear moment, was at Waverly Hills.
Hmm.
And I've given this tour 100 times that we were there, and Lois and Audrey's room was always a very special area for me. Even now, trying to talk, it would always choke me up being there, just knowing what happened to those ladies, what they went through, and all that. And I guess they knew something that we didn't know, because it was the last night that we had a tour up there. And I was making the comment to Ernie, one of the other guides, and I said, I would love to see something in Lois and Audrey's room. That was early in the night, and we went through and we had some good investigations in there, and we had a lot of activity. At the end of the night, we were going through clearing the building, making sure everybody was out of the building, ready to go home. And as we walked past Lois and Audrey's room, there were two chairs set up by the door out to the solarium. And as we're walking by out of my peripheral, I caught a single blue bar. It was about 24 inches long, just a blue bar of light. I stopped and looked, and when I looked, the second bar appeared. It was like Lois and Audrey were sitting in the chairs in that room. And Ernie caught a glimpse of it, but I mean, it was just two of the most beautiful blue lights I've ever seen, just there momentarily, but it was there. And then as it
Wow.
faded out, we walked on, and I was speechless for a while.
I bet that would be pretty intense to see, and like you said, probably pretty emotional too, considering like you said what happened with those ladies. And correct me if I'm wrong, 'cause it's been a few years since I've been there, but Audrey's the one who didn't pass away there, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
because I remember when I went the very first time, I was in their room by myself, and I was doing an EVP session, and I just said, hey, what was it, Lois? What was the name of your sister? And when I reviewed it, a couple of days later, right after that, clear as day, it came through and said Audrey, and it gave me the chill. It just gave me the chills thinking. I wish I still had it, but of course this was back in like 2017. I had no way to save none of that stuff. So, but it was
Well,
that place is just amazing.
that's something that happened a lot there. I asked for one of the others' names, and and they would communicate with us. I mean, I can't remember if it was that night or not. We were doing a 360 session in there in Lois and Audrey's room, and I had my recorder set on the bed that they had set in there, and we're going around the room asking questions, and it got to me. I asked my question. I was the last one. I had my head turned, and as I turn around to end the recording, you can hear Ernie from the doorway going, "Did you see?" What he saw when he was standing in that doorway was the recorder slide across the bed about 2 or 3 inches.
Oh wow!
And you can actually hear it on the recording, the ruffle of the
Mhm.
phone sliding across the bed.
Oh wow! That and see, you have stuff like that happen that would probably startle you a little bit, but not really scare you. And then I'm sure guys have probably experienced stuff that's probably scared you a little bit at that place, and then not just that place. Just so, what's probably the most scared you've been during an investigation, whether it's at Waverly or Octagon or wherever it's been at?
Mm.
I would say, oh gosh, this was my come to Jesus moment. uh, this was at Haunted South Pittsburgh Hospital. Um, Me and one of the other tour guides, we had walked into the hospital that morning, and we had a tour coming in, and noticed there was a lot of whispers. You could hear just, and I couldn't make out what was being said.
Just a lot of chatter.
A lot of chatter. And I even asked Todd, I said, Todd, are you hearing that? And he's like, yeah. He goes, it's kind of abnormal, chatter. So the group came in for the tour, and I told Todd, I said, I think we're going to walk up on the second floor at the nurses station and kind of see, what's going on, see if we can figure out what this chatter is all about. So if anybody has ever been at that, it's kind of the T area where you're looking down and you can see towards the ER, and you can look down. It's called shadow hallways, what we always called it, but it would be looking down towards the nurses station on the second floor. So we're kind of standing in that area. Well, we look over, and there is a black figure that steps out of one of the rooms. And we would periodically see black figures there, but I didn't expect it to do what it did. So as we're standing there, I look over and I asked one of the girls that was with me, I said, do you see that? And she said, yeah. As I say that, this black shadow, which it looked fluid to me, it almost looked, it had kind of masculine. It was, and so it takes off, and it's floating. It's not actually running like a human would, but it is coming at us like at 100 miles an hour, it felt like. And it makes a turn, and as it turns, it comes that close to my face. And all I see is black as it turns, and it goes right in front of the girl next to me, turns in front of me, and carries on down the hallway. And as it does, it turns in from that black into a white mist, and then just disappears right there. I have never experienced anything like this in my life, and I haven't yet. And being at Waverly Hills, I didn't experience, anything like that. Um, it scared me so bad that I was probably making up cuss words at that point. I mean, I was just losing it.
When you're not
And oh, and another story at Waverly Hills. Um, Me and Denise had gone up to the fourth floor. We were actually doing a sweep at the end of the night to make sure everybody was off the floor, and we always made everybody go down to the cafeteria to meet us down there. So we were going up on the floor to let everybody know that it was the end of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as we go up the staircase, we take a left on the fourth floor, and we're, hollering out, meet in the cafeteria. It's the end of the night. And a girl steps out of one of the rooms. And she is as vivid as looking at any of you guys.
Hmm.
And so I look over at Denise and I said, well, I guess we need to let her know, that's the end of the night. And as we do, we approach her, and we're maybe 5 feet away from her, and this girl disappears. And I could see her hair was long. She had it down. She was wearing white. It was almost like she was glowing. And I can say that was my first full body apparition that I saw, because I kind of put the shadow figure in the, shadow figure, category.
Right.
But she was intelligent because she knew we were coming. She steps out of the room. She sees us. I mean, she's staring right at me and Denise. I didn't realize that Ernie, Denise's husband, was coming up behind us. And all of a sudden you hear him say, holy,
Right.
did you see that? So Denise goes, well, yeah, Ernie, we were right up on her. We all saw her.
Wow.
And, I mean, just to actually see someone that looks as human as that, and that to be a spirit,
Mhm.
that was amazing to me.
Right. See, that makes me want to get back there even more now. So,
Yeah.
so Beth, what's probably the most scared you've been during an investigation?
I don't know if I was necessarily as scared as I was like, what the hell's going on?
Right.
At Brushy Mountain.
Oh, I love Brushy.
We were in the cafeteria. We had multiple cameras, multiple recorders, multiple things going. We were doing an experiment, and all of a sudden, I feel someone just towering over me from behind. And I'm looking across at Ernie and Todd, and I'm like, is there a dude behind me? And Ernie's eyes are this big. Yeah, there is. I'm like, is he over 6 foot tall? Got an afro, wide? Yep, that'd be him. Well, come to find out, he decided from that point on he needed to be my protector.
Oh, wow.
His name is Big T. And if we do anything jail wise, prison wise, he shows up
Hmm.
and shuts activity down.
Oh, wow.
Very protective. But it was also my voice. I started channeling and I sounded like a Hispanic gang member. And Todd's like, "Oh my God," like my mannerisms, the way I was walking, the way I mean, it was another voice coming out of my mouth.
Huh.
And don't get it twisted. She has a thug thing about her anyway. But from time to time, I have to ask Leanne for a thugosaurus so I can understand what she's saying. But
Right.
this experience, sitting there watching her and her facial expressions and her mannerisms and talking with her hands. And, in the time that I've known Beth, I don't think I've ever heard her really speak in a Spanish language or dialect or accent.
Hmm.
That fight was trippy.
I bet. That's Like I said, Brushy Mountain is a beast of a place too, and that's where my team kind of got our unofficial start. And we went in there with no equipment whatsoever. We had a digital recorder and I think an EMF detector, and we had so much happening and had no way to document any of it. And so that's on our docket to go back there next year. I mean, that's the first time I've had something thrown at me was at Brushy Mountain,
Mm.
and that was pretty wild. The first time I've ever been affected by something, couldn't figure it out was at Brushy Mountain. Like I went from like super enraged to literally crying in tears in about 45 seconds, and didn't figure out why until we went
Oh
back to
yeah.
listening to the recording, and I was like, man, that was wild. And so I'm
But we
looking
would
at
have had plenty. We would have had plenty of evidence. But all at the same time, every one of our cameras, recording devices, phones that were recording, all started erasing at the same time backwards. We
that's
we lost everything.
oh man, that's that's terrible.
Now,
Oh, that
Hey,
sucks.
people got home to look at their cards and their cameras and stuff, and
Yeah.
the cards, not only was the information gone, the cards were corrupted and couldn't be salvaged.
Mhm.
Wow,
now
that's crazy.
multiple.
Yeah, that didn't just happen to one person's equipment,
Right.
people's equipment.
That's crazy. And now I'm looking at your guys' hat, Stork Scott County Jail. Have you guys actually been there like to investigate, or we just like went there just to check it out?
Well, we've had an investigation there, and we've been there a couple of times just to check it out.
Yeah, we love those ladies. Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah, Chris and Miranda are amazing.
They
So
are.
how did the investigation go for you guys?
Uh, there was one room, I think it was on the second floor,
And
next
it
to
wasn't, it was kind of a brief investigation. It wasn't an all night investigation.
and I think it was next to the kitchen or across from the kitchen.
Mhm.
So walked into this one room and literally got spun. I mean, spun around.
Hmm.
The energy there is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The energy that Miranda and Chris put into that place is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The things that they've done for that building and that community are just over the top.
Right.
Can't say enough about those two ladies. But investigating there with them and just like Leanne said, it was just an impromptu kind of investigation,
Right.
going in and getting a feel for the building. Uh, but the building is active. Uh,
Oh, absolutely.
we we heard what we thought were disembodied voices. Couldn't really make sure because other things were going on. Uh, like I said, the energy in that one room. Every time I go back, I have to go to that
Yeah.
room and try to make contact with whatever's in there, and it's different every time.
Mhm.
Huh. And see, and it's crazy you say that it happened right there. You said right across from the kitchen.
Yeah.
You can see that's we've been there twice to investigate. We went there the first time last year. That area is where we captured probably the craziest thing we've captured to date. Was that room right across from the kitchen? Yeah, it was just the two of us there. I don't know if you guys have seen the video of it or not. And people that's listening to this is probably tired of me talking about it. But like I said, it's the most profound piece of evidence we've ever captured. And so it was just myself and my co-founder that night, and we're in the kitchen. We got the door closed, and on our REM pods going crazy. We have an EDI box that's just going nuts, and we both hear this woman from the hallway say "help." And I was like, "What? Okay." And so I pick up my camera, walk to the hallway, open that door up, and I say hello. And right when I say hello, that there was a picture hanging on the wall. It gets knocked off the wall and flips up in midair and lands about 4.5 feet on the other side. And I'm dropping F bombs and all this other stuff, but when you actually break the video down, you can see a shadow figure that darts across the hallway. You see a shadow arm come out from behind. Looks like it actually slapped that picture off the wall, and it's insane. And it's like you said, it's an active place. And when we went back just a couple of months ago, that same hallway, same location, we were doing an Estes method in the middle of the hallway, and we decided to start playing gospel music because I remember Miranda saying they like gospel music. Whoever was on that second floor at that point didn't like it because I started getting sick to my stomach.
Mhm.
and like I was getting dizzy, and I was like, we got to stop playing this. And as soon as we turned it off, about 3 minutes later, I was perfectly fine. But I love that place, and actually, who our team's named after, I donated one of his hats, and his hat is in the fallen officers room, and so that place means a lot to myself and the team as a whole because of that reason, and hopefully I've been trying to get Chris and Miranda on the show, but they stay super busy too, and with me
They
recording
do.
on Sundays, they're like, now that we got the escape room, it's kind of hit or miss. So, but hopefully I'll get them on at some point. Whew, like I said, I'm kind of under the weather, so I just got winded there talking. Social media. Where can we guys find you on social media?
We're on Instagram. We are on Facebook also.
Okay.
And I know Beth has got her Wicked Woman paranormal site on Facebook also.
Yeah, I'm on
Right.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, which I don't do much with. Um, I'm actually thinking about revamping the Wicked Woman show. We shall
Oh,
see,
all right.
because
All right.
it was created to support women in the field,
Right.
such as Miranda Young and Chris and Jenny, Soul Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there are so many wonderful women in the field, and we don't get acknowledged.
Right.
I kind of went on a whole rant the other night about it, because we're not all just mediums and need to be on shows as mediums.
Right.
We have some kick-ass women investigators,
Mm-hmm.
very intelligent
Mhm.
women that present themselves as a woman should.
Right.
Not everybody in the field is a middle-aged white man.
Right.
And the Ghost Brothers are not the only three brothers in the field.
Right.
The paranormal community is very intriguing in the manner of it's for everybody.
Mm-hmm. You're
Black,
absolutely
white,
right.
brown, purple, green,
Mm-hmm.
gay, straight, one leg, two legs, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Some of us have birds on our chest. I'm just saying.
So, I mean,
Yeah, it's kind of funny you pick that out. You picked out our hats to ask that question. That's one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves on is we try to support the whole community.
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
Uh, we support everybody from Pac-Man Paranormal, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, uh, Middle
Night
Tennessee,
stalkers.
the Night Stalkers. I mean, I can go on and on.
Yeah.
If we don't have the shirt, we find the shirt available, we'll get it, and we'll be out doing investigations, supporting these other teams.
Right.
I mean, we're all about the community
Mm-hmm.
and trying to help and learn and teach at the same time.
Right.
Yep.
And that's what's quite a few people don't realize is it's all about pair unity. It's not just about it's
Bad
not about
word.
this team or it's not about that team. It's about everybody. And there's so many people that make it about themselves, and I don't understand that.
And I want to make sure that I say I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I don't want you to be looking like, why is Beth losing her mind and shaking her head? Let me go on and piss everybody off real quick, because that's kind of my job. People need to be real careful with para-unity, because I am not a supporter of para-unity. I'm not. I'm a supporter of para-family,
Right.
because not you, but there's a lot of people out there. Para-unity, para-unity. They're the first ones that'll stab you in the back, and they're
Mm-hmm.
not in it for the right reason.
Right.
I could very easily promote myself all day, every day. I do not. I choose to promote the people that I am so blessed, privileged, and proud to have part of my life. They are my family.
Right.
And so I do. I ruffle some feathers here and there, because I'm tired of hearing it. Because the
Right.
same person talking about some, oh, para unity. Yeah, para hell no. Just
That's
All
saying.
why
right.
we love you, Beth.
Just saying. There's so many wonderful people that they get overlooked, and they bring so much
Yes.
to, it's not just the paranormal community, to
Right.
humanity.
Right.
Melinda Williams is one of the sweetest women, genuine souls that I know. I love her dearly. I have made so many great friends and family members throughout the world, from across the pond to California to from wherever.
Hmm.
I want to see those people. I want to see the real people. I want to
Right.
see everyday people. Because obviously I'm not a buck 05 with blonde hair. I got the
Right.
big boobs. I got the big boobs. I got that. But I'm a lady. Period. Am I the parathug? Yes, I am. That's what everybody knows me as. But I respect myself and I respect other people.
Right.
It has to stop. I want to see real people. I want to see you, man. I want to see your team.
Right.
You
I
know,
want
that's one of the things too. I mean, that Leanne and I've experienced and been lucky to meet some of the people that we meet when we do these investigations. When we've been leads at Waverly or leads at uh, Old South or
or
just
just even helping.
helping out at an event somewhere else. I mean, there's a pair of sisters that we've met, Hannah and Shannon,
Yeah.
that have
Great
become
people.
great family to us, and there's nothing that we wouldn't do for them. Ron and Susie out of Memphis.
Yep.
I mean, they're a great couple. Um,
Tara Cleary.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's people I'm leaving out, and I'm sorry, but
There's so many.
there's so many that, we go out and you don't think when you're doing this sort of thing that you have a connection with people, and then you come to find out you really do. And I mean, whether it's an energy connection, spiritual connection, just a common connection with what we're doing, that these people come back to us, and they infect us with their energy, and I hope we infect them with ours, and it's all positive.
Mhm.
Right.
It's not, you know, who's doing this
Who's
or going after
better
that
right.
or anybody better than anybody else. It's
Right.
just a common connection. It's a fluid connection.
And you learn from them, even though they might be new in the paranormal. I've learned from brand new investigators.
Yep.
Hey, that's pretty cool what you're doing.
Right.
And you get results. And and you're teaching us, we're teaching you different methods or whatever. And and you got that camaraderie. I love that. And you walk away from it, and thinking about it for days, thinking, man, that was really cool what
Right.
we did, you know? So I love meeting people and teaching and learning. That's my favorite thing.
Right. And see, and anybody starting a team should model themselves after teams like you. That's all about helping other people, not just about themselves. And
Oh
I've been
no. Don't be like us, be better than us.
Yeah.
all right. Well, you make a good point, but I've been fortunate enough to meet nothing but good people so far. At least on paper they are. I haven't seen the bad side of them if there is one, and hopefully there isn't on any of the people that I've become friends with, because that really pissed me off if there is. So
I'm just excited to hear you say on paper because I say that and everybody's
right,
like, "What is that?" That's a UK thing.
right. All right, so 2023, what's going to be going on for Black Wolf Paranormal in 2023? You got anything exciting lined up so far?
Oh yeah.
The first of the year, January 13th, Friday the 13th, the first Friday the 13th of 2023. The Black Wolf will be hosting an event at Trousdale House in Gallatin, Tennessee. We're going to have a couple of special guests that we are trying to firm up and make sure they're going to be there with us. We did a preliminary investigation yesterday, and I think this Trousdale House is going to be a really good investigation, especially for beginners.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes, I agree.
We have
Definitely a novice hunt.
yes,
Mhm.
and we also have a date, a second event at Trousdale House in October. That one has not been fully set yet, but we will be back in there again in October.
May.
There is a date, October 13th.
Oh, it's another Friday the 13th.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
Nice.
October Friday the 13th.
Because obviously we're all about Friday the 13th for some reason. We are also going to be in West Virginia for the second annual Monster Con, put on by Dave Spinks and Serenity Jenny. Um, Dave Spinks World of Weird. It's last year was phenomenal. I know this year's going to be even better, and we can't wait to see our family in West Virginia. If you don't know about it, I believe it's May 5th, 6th, and 7th. Don't quote me on that. It might be the 6th, 7th, and 8th, but all those details should be coming out soon on Dave Spinks World of Weird.
All right. So
Uh,
any big personal, just like team investigations planned for the year yet?
We got that too, don't we? Oh crap, we got a lot already.
We've got a lot that we're talking about doing. Nothing is really solid on the books yet. I would like for us to get together with a couple of different groups and go back to Brushy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is a couple of other locations in and around Gallatin that we would like to go to. I would like to do another event up at Octagon. Maybe next year sometime we can possibly get back into Waverly and do an event up there.
Right.
There's places that we want to go and experience and check out, and just as time goes and as people call us and invite us, I mean, if we're open, we'll be more than happy to help out where we can.
Right. Now, what's like the farthest you guys have traveled for an investigation?
Ballinger, Texas, for us.
Yeah. And,
Yep.
and Salina, Kansas. And I know for you, Beth, you Texas.
Texas.
Oh wow. So is it like a well-known place, or was it just something kind of people's
The
never
old
really
park.
heard of?
The Old Park Hotel. It's been
Oh,
on TV.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard of that. Yeah.
It's a great location, great owners. I've been quite a few times.
Right.
My pair sister, Shannon Rogers, I've done a few events out there with her. There's so much, there's so many places people don't think about.
Right. Well, this has been a really fun and informative interview. I think I learned a new word today. I'd never actually, I don't think I've heard of parafamily until just a few minutes ago. I think I may start using that instead. So,
Oh yeah.
anyways, guys and gals, I want to thank you for being on the show today. Everybody go check out Black Wolf Paranormal, a really great team. They support a lot of local haunted places, a lot of amazing teams. So, guys, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
So much.
All right, thank you, guys. We'll talk to everybody soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.